Indeed.
On to our Justice Thursday conversation now, the final hour of the Situation Room. And our next guest is the Honorable Justice Kanyi Kemondo. He is the chair of the Committee on Operationalization of the Judiciary Desks at Huduma Centre. Judge, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to the Justice Thursday hot seat.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure you've seen your colleagues here. And they've done very well. And you're also going to do very well.
Thank you.
Karibu tena sana. You've heard about our conversation on Keringet. Of course,
Yes.
you know Keringet.
Yes.
Now it's about when it's bottled at source and you test it and you find it has all these minerals, then you say, this is good water. And they've told us to tell you that whenever you're thinking water, think Keringet, because you will be thinking about the richness of Kenya. Then also our friends in Kiwi have also told us when Justice Kanyi comes, please tell him the work that we are doing.
Yeah.
Do.
And then also ask him to go to a supermarket today and buy a tin of kiwi.
It's the
It'll
one I
be
use.
I can see
my
myself
shoe.
in your shoes.
Yes.
It's clear evidence that you do. So this is the thing, because buying a can of kiwi, you see, I don't know why I'm doing this today. A can of kiwi, a tin of kiwi is a magical thing. You know why? Because somebody else could benefit because you picked up that tin. Now, when you pick up that tin and you see the starburst, that is the one we want you to pick.
Yes.
There's a number there. It's a *459 *5#. So even still while in the store, you dial that number, you can pop the lid, and under the lid you'll find a code. As you dial the number, you input that code, and there's something for you. It's data, it's airtime. This is where the magic happens, because then you're entered into a draw. And this draw is recognizing that 4 people every week are winning 35,000 shillings. And it goes directly to school fees. And you find that you win. It doesn't necessarily have to be for you or somebody in your family. Because it goes directly to school, somebody else could benefit. And that's the magic of shining your shoes, shining up for somebody else.
Imagine.
And you're helping society.
You're
Absolutely.
helping society. You're helping society. Judge, we always start the hour with the day's proverb. It's an African proverb. And CT this time has been supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, to go across Africa and to look for the best proverbs from that country. It's a Pan-African Bank. It's supporting the Africa Cup of Nations this year. But they've also told CT, please go to Morocco and get proverbs from Morocco. And so today's proverb is, CT?
From the Kingdom of Morocco. And Judge,
Yes.
when people talk about hybrid government systems, you have to refer to Morocco. It's a monarchy. And what their form of government is called, it's a unitary, parliamentary, semi-constitutional monarchy. Now, you can't get more hybrid than that.
That's truly hybrid. That's truly hybrid.
Now, the proverb. There is no queue at the gate of patience.
There is no queue
At the gate of
at
patience.
the gate of patience. What's your interpretation of it?
If you are patient, you'll finally get there. And you don't have to do like our people here who have bad habits of jumping queues, overlapping. If you're just patient, you'll find there is no queue at that gate of patience. That's the way I interpret it. That's the literal interpretation.
The example you've given, as you're saying it, I was just picturing
You could
it.
just see.
Yes. Some of these black SUVs, you first of all hear this sound, "Wong, wong," and then all of a sudden, 3 black vehicles. And then, the next thing, a jam. There was no jam, but now there's a jam.
Suddenly there's
Yes.
a jam.
Yes, because they've created a lane which didn't exist.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
We've been talking about the social transformation through access to justice. This is the principle that Chief Justice Martha Koome came and said, let's do this. So let's make sure that more and more people have more easier and direct access to justice. And justice is not justice if it takes long, right? It's as fast as possible. Now, there's a new thing about justice being accessible through the Huduma Centres. You're the chair of this committee, operationalizing this. Let's start from the thinking behind it. What is the rationale?
Thank you very much. The Honorable Chief Justice has a blueprint, like you said, of social transformation through access to justice. Its cornerstone is to come up with an institution that is strong, robust, independent, but accessible to all, particularly those people who have been far removed from the center of justice or disenfranchised, if we say. And this includes the marginalized people, persons living with disability, women, indigent litigants, or self-represented litigants. The other important aspect of that vision is to have what we call people-centered justice, so that you have citizen-facing services. So what the Chief Justice has done over time is to try and leverage on technology and try to have multiple channels of access to justice. That's the general background. So that if you first of all look internally at the judiciary, we have moved away from the physical courtroom and the physical court registry, so that we now have virtual courts, for instance. And we now have e-filing, where you can file a case even from the comfort of a lawyer's office. So what this does, and this is important, the ideal is to reduce what we would call the physical distance to the courtroom. And you're now reducing it even further by use of technology. That explains why then we have partnered with Huduma Kenya. And Huduma Kenya Service Delivery Program is a Vision 2030 flagship program. And it operates on 4 platforms. Huduma Kenya Centres, we have 52 Huduma Kenya Centres spread out across the 47 counties. And what the judiciary now wants to do is to have a desk in each of these Huduma Centres that will offer judiciary services. And we're going to get deeper into that topic. So that now for this self-represented litigant, as he applies for his identity card on one of the desks, or as a student goes to the Higher Education Loans Board desk at Huduma, if he wants to follow up on proceedings in the courtroom, or if he wants to pay a fine, then that could be done in one of those counters. So that the one-stop shop system for Huduma Kenya services will now help the judiciary to ride on that success and reach more of our customers.
Yeah. I guess my question was going to be why choose Huduma, but then I guess you've gone ahead and answered that, because we're assuming that this is where everybody is anyway. At some point you're getting some of these services done. Where are people accessing these judiciary services today before linking up with Huduma?
Oh, that's a very good question. We have developed a number of platforms in the judiciary. One of them is e-filing. And if you go to e-filing on efiling.go.ke for the judiciary, you'll find that you can file a case. You can follow up on a case. You can take a date. So you do not have to come to the courtroom at the moment to get basic registry services, at least a number of them. You do not have to come to the courtroom to do your case because of the virtual court platforms. In fact, you ask a good question. The presiding judge of the criminal division at the High Court, 99% of my work is done virtually.
Really?
I only go into the open courtroom to do a case where the accused person needs to come into the courtroom. There could be physical exhibits that need to be seen. There could be a number of lawyers who need to cross-examine and so forth. But if it is a miscellaneous criminal application, if it's an application for bail, if it is on the day you're coming to take plea for the offense of murder, the High Court only try murder, I do it on the virtual platform. It saves everyone, and particularly our prisons, a lot of money because they do not have to transport our citizens into the courtroom unless it's extremely necessary. So a lot of these services are available on other platforms. But we'll now be leveraging on this and using the success of Huduma to reach even more people across the country. That is the answer that I would give.
Okay.
Let's just list those services
Yes.
that are immediately available once you roll out these at the Huduma Centres.
Yes.
What services are these specifically?
There'll be the following. First and foremost, you can file a new case. You can go into the Huduma desk. This will be from the 29th of January, Monday next week. The desk should go live. I should point out that this has been going on since the year 2022, but it could not be rolled out because we needed to have a formal framework, which has now been done in a collaboration agreement with Huduma Kenya Services on the 1st of November. So from Monday, the 29th of January, the year of our Lord 2024, you can file a new case at a Huduma Kenya counter. If you go to GPO, these will be on counter number 40 and 41.
What does filing a new case mean?
It means
those of us
that, that's a very good question. It means that you'd come into the center, you have already prepared, say, a plaint, or you've prepared your divorce papers, or you've prepared your claim of a commercial nature. And you come into the Huduma Center, you'll be able to upload all of those documents into the court. But I started by saying that we have self-represented litigants who may not have access to a smartphone or a computer. They can also come into the Huduma Center and they'll go into the cyber cafe inside Huduma Center. They are there in each of those Huduma Centers. And at a small fee of 150 shillings, that is assuming that they can't type, they can't do anything, all of these documents will be prepared for them end to end and uploaded. But if you can do this and you haven't prepared the documents again in the cyber cafe, you can prepare your own documents there at a small rate of about 10 shillings per, I think, a few minutes that you spend in there, and you'll again upload your documents. So that is a new case.
Okay.
The new case will then be received. I should say this, that the person behind that desk is a judiciary member of staff, but stationed at Huduma Center from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They'll be wearing braided outfits like any other person in the Huduma Center, but they are judiciary members of staff. They'll be backed up by other members of staff in the registries. We can call them the back office members of staff. So this case will be uploaded. It will be received on the other side, and you'll get a case number. And after that, you're good to go. The other service that is important following immediately after that is you'll be able to apply for summonses for this case so that you can serve them on the opposite party and so forth. So that's one
Those are
service.
two services.
Yes. You can also, if there is an existing case, you can come up into the Huduma Center and upload like a reply or a defense to that case. You can also, if it's an existing case, have another service. You can take a date for hearing of that case. That is yet another service. You can pay a fine. You can pay filing fees. In fact, fines are interesting because the way we have conceptualized this, you would have Latif arrested somewhere, say in Kisumu,
Yeah.
and find on the highway,
Yes.
he's very far from Nairobi, and the family members are in Nairobi. What the courthouse, wherever you've been taken for this traffic case, will do is issue a document specifying the amount of fine that you need to pay, for instance. And then once we have that document in Nairobi, where your family lives, if they're next to a Huduma Center, assume they were traveling, they can also pay this fine for you into the system.
And it will reflect immediately.
And it will reflect immediately, and then you should be able to go scot-free. Yes. So those are some of these services that we'll be offering. But I should add one more. Because we have sufficient technology in each of these counters, you can also follow proceedings that are taking place in court. So like the factual proceedings. So again, you have this self-represented litigant or an old person coming up from the village, and time is running out and the court is about to start. They can enter into a Huduma Center, log in, and they'll be helped to log in, and they can follow the proceedings. So you can see it's a big picture. I should issue a caveat here that on Monday, the 29th of January, 2024, this will be rolled out in 6 pilot Huduma Centres. These will be at the GPO, at the City Square, at Kibra, at Eastleigh, at Thika. In all of those 6 centres, and Makadara, in all of those 6 centres, those services will be available on Monday. And the vision is to roll out this in the second phase of this program to all the 52 Huduma Centres countrywide.
Yeah, I think you keep answering questions that I wanted to ask because I obviously
That's the trouble with lawyers.
you preempt and anticipate, right?
Yes.
Because we do know that Huduma services are available around the country, oftentimes domiciled at county headquarters. And so the question was that will all of these services then be available around the country? One of the issues with access to justice, which I believe was now approached by the CJ and this rollout, is that, people around the country wanted to be able to access it, and that, if you are not in proximity of the capital, then you wouldn't be able to. So then this is clear that with the centers around the country, there's then that proximity to the access of justice. So will it be available at every Huduma Center countrywide?
Yes, in the fullness of time, all of these services will be available in all the 52 Huduma Centres in all the 47 counties. Remember also that it is being backed up by the e-filing system. And at the moment, the e-filing system is available in 10 of our counties. In all courts in 10 of our counties. And we are hopeful that by the end of February, we'll have rolled out e-filing into all the 37 other counties. Because this is the backbone of the service that we're trying to offer at Huduma. So the short answer is, on Monday, in 6 centers, in Kiambu because of Thika, and in Nairobi, and in the fullness of time, it will be available in all the 47 counties.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've said the people that we'll find there are officers of the judiciary.
Yes.
And they've been trained on these particular services.
Yes.
Now, there's a matter here of some fees here. You pay a fee here, then you can access the desk. You pay a fee here, you can access internet. You pay a fee for this and the other. How do we eliminate issues or the risk of an officer sitting there and wanting to pretend or impose themselves as, I'm going to help sort you out. In fact, hii yako tukifile saa hii itaenda kwa judge leo afternoon, utapewa date kesho.
In fact, after by Sunday, ashakupatia judgment.
That's a very good question. And it raises 2 issues. One is the way we hard of payments at the judiciary, the entire judiciary has gone cashless. So you pay for all services in the judiciary through cashless platforms. That's the first one. The second one goes to the question of integrity. Our staff who are posted at all of these desks have been trained, very well trained. They not only have to comply with our own internal guidelines relating to integrity and how you interact with the public, and particularly the issue that you raise of corruption. But they'll also have to fit in very well and seamlessly with the culture at Huduma Kenya Secretariat. And I would say that that culture can be summarized in about 5 ways. Of course, we want you to be courteous to the members of the public. Secondly, we want you to be innovative. You can be innovative without being corrupt. So you can help this person by being innovative, but you're not being corrupt. So you're giving them proper advice that can help them to expedite their matter. But we also want you to have passion for your work. We want you to be a person where your integrity is beyond reproach. Generally, that is the training that our people have received. But more importantly, when someone comes into the Huduma Center, they are able to see the services on our counter that are offered. So if someone tries to say that there is a service here that I can offer you so that your judgment can be delivered tomorrow, they are lying. And if that happens and we get the report, the Huduma Center manager will kick out that member of staff very quickly out of there.
Let's take a break. Kenya's biggest conversation, the Justice Thursday conversation this morning, is on operationalization of judiciary desks at the Huduma Centres countrywide. This is being rolled out in phases. Phase 1 from Monday next week, the 29th of January. The Honourable Justice Kanyi Kemondo is the chair of the committee in charge of this. He's also the presiding judge, the Criminal Division of the High Court. Keep it here. We'll be talking more about this after this break. Have you downloaded Maramoja Taxi app? You should have by now, because you will get a 30% discount if you use the promo code SPICE30. And you'll also get a 50% bonus if you load any amount of money onto the Maramoja wallet. It's as simple as that. It's available in very many towns and cities countrywide.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Step up and shine. It's that time of the year to win big with Kiwi. Stand a chance to win school fees worth 35,000 Kenya shillings weekly and instant airtime or data. Here is what you simply need to do. Visit your nearest store, buy any participating Kiwi tin with a fabulous new design nationwide. Dial star 459 star 5 hash, enter the unique code you'll find under the lid, and you could be the next winner. Kiwi, your trusted partner to protect, shine, and waterproof your shoes. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, is it as busy as it was earlier? Not really. We're seeing traffic dying down in many parts as we come to the end of traffic hour. Just a little bit left on the Thika Super Highway, and then Uhuru Highway is taking up everything that everybody's left behind as you get into the city. In and outbound traffic on Uhuru Highway coming in from Westlands will continue to be a bit busy, at least for now. Also on Limuru Road, we're still dealing with the dregs of morning traffic, but I think we've done well for a Thursday. We're keeping an eye on things through the morning. Talk to us on Spice FM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM.
Spice FM on YouTube, on Facebook. We'll also be live on KTN News shortly. The services that will be available in Huduma Centres First of all, from Monday, we'll be in GPO, City Square, Kibra, Eastleigh, Thika, and Makadara Huduma Centres. What are those services? Let me just read them, as we've been told by the judge. Filing a new civil case, right?
Yes.
Filing documents in an existing case, correct?
True.
Requesting for and issuance of summons to enter appearance, notice to appear in divorce cases, extracted court orders, decrees, certified or uncertified proceedings, copies of rulings and judgments. Request and issuance of mentioned dates. Request and issuance of mentioned dates, general case inquiries. E-filing support, opening an e-filing account recovery and resetting, e-filing passwords, how to navigate the system, how to self-help using the Judiciary Public Information Kiosk, and then there's payment of fines and deposits, issuance of payment invoices, payment of cash bail, payment of all other deposits in compliance with court orders, and there's a virtual court support that's providing virtual court links, and you can get them there. Now, Judge,
yes,
the president of the Law Society of Kenya has tweeted, and he has said, such initiatives should not be introduced without adequate prior consultation. Chances that the initiative can be abused by masqueraders and increase avenues for unethical practices abound. The initiative should be put on ice to enable stakeholders' consultation. Have you engaged the stakeholders sufficiently?
All right. Thank you very much. There has been some consultation along the way. In fact, some of our key stakeholders would be the Law Society of Kenya, because that's where the lawyers are disciplined. That is where the lawyers get their bread. And they are very important stakeholders in the administration of justice. Other, of course, important stakeholders would be non-governmental organizations, particularly those that help the indigent, for instance, Kituo, Shashaliel, and so forth. One of the activities that will be going on this afternoon at 3, we have a further consultation with the Nairobi branch of the Law Society of Kenya. But let me allay the fears that have been expressed by the president of the Law Society. First, for the services that are being offered at the Huduma counters are the services that have traditionally been offered by the judiciary, either in the courthouses or in the platforms that I spoke about, so that there is nothing new. It is only that this service is being expanded so that it covers as many people in our country as we can. I think it's important to make that clarification. Secondly, at the Huduma Centres, we are not offering legal services. I think that is also important, so that there will be no service there that is in competition with the advocate. Thirdly, and I think this is material, there will be, as this system is rolled out, further and deeper consultation with stakeholders and persons who assist the judiciary in rolling out not just this service but in many other services. It is not just with lawyers, it's also consultation with the public, because the public needs to know that these services are available. And it is also critical to keep in mind that the judiciary is required under the Constitution to offer services to the public expeditiously in a timely manner. So what we are trying to do is merely to reduce the distance between the citizen and the registry. I think this is important, and I think perhaps digressing a little, but sometimes we take it for granted. Some years back, when we had the provinces, you required to travel physically to access a government service, say at the provincial headquarters. The most ridiculous aspect was someone coming, say, from Machakos, because that was in the eastern province, would pass through the city center, but travel all the way to Ebu where the headquarters were.
Yeah.
Well, even in Kiambu, you'd have to travel to Nyeri. But that's long gone. Now we have e-citizen services on your computer, on your smartphone. You can access so many services. So that's what we're trying to do. So I think it is important. There will be need for deeper consultation with key stakeholders. I admit that the feelings expressed by the president are genuine, and we shall address them.
Okay. Of course, when you have a rollout like this, where you have a 6 center pilot from next Monday, or 5? 6 center pilot?
Yes.
And then going to roll out to the remaining 52, so the remaining 40, 47, 46 thereafter. It must put a dent in the judiciary budget.
Yes.
Isn't it? Because these are not volunteers. Even if they were, surely they would have a glass of water or something. So it's an expensive rollout, is it not? And does it then divert judiciary funds, or was this in the plan all along?
This was in the plan all along. Like I said, it started some time back, running back to the year 2022. Let me start with the staff. The staff who will be operating on the Huduma counters are judiciary staff. We're not employing new people.
Okay.
Because we have courts across all the 47 counties. And wherever we have a Huduma Center, there is a nearby courthouse. So that there shall be no additional budgetary cost on the judiciary for purposes of staff. The other staff who are providing back office support are our staff operating in the courthouses in the registries. They'll be assisted, however, in the following way. They are getting into an institution, Huduma Center, that has other services being offered by the government.
Yeah.
We are not paying Huduma any money to use that counter, because Huduma, in its very creation, is supposed to offer government services all across. So the judiciary, in fact, has been missing, and we are bringing it in there. However, to be more specific, in terms of this cooperation, there will be costs. We have put in computers, for instance, at those centers. There will be some software going with it. There will even be a desk or even a seat. And that has been factored in a budget. The budget for bringing into fruition that entire collaboration agreement was agreed upon. It was about 232 million for all the 5 phases. We are just at phase 1. Phase 1 is not expensive at all, because we are just linking the services to the courtroom. But there is that kind of cost.
So there's a budgetary implication here.
There's a budgetary implication.
But it's all being borne by the judiciary.
Yes.
But you're not paying for services being offered. You're not paying for rent. You're not paying for water, for electricity.
No.
You're only setting up your desk, plug, play, move.
In fact, Huduma Center will even offer our employee there a cup of tea at no cost.
At Moses Kudia's cost. At the ministry's cost.
At the State Department of Public Services cost. They'll even offer them the uniform, the branded uniform for Huduma Center at no cost to the judiciary. So in this framework that we've done, we've clearly set out what the duties of the judiciary will be and what the duties of Huduma Kenya Secretariat will be.
Okay.
And the cost items that would be for the judiciary, like providing the hardware, the seats and so forth.
Yeah.
But then, Judge,
Yes.
would you say that the judiciary was adequately resourced human-wise before we move into Monday's Huduma Center? I'm asking that because you're saying you're not hiring any new staff.
Yes, for the time being.
It's a staff who work for the judiciary who will be deployed to the Huduma Centers,
Yes.
working 12 hours a day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yes.
through several desks.
Yes.
Where are they living, where they were working before?
That's a good one. So that in terms of the pilot program, it's not a challenge. But I also explained that wherever we have a Huduma Center, we have a courthouse nearby. But obviously, and you raise an important matter, the member of staff who goes to offer services at the Huduma Center has left their desk at the registry.
Yeah.
So going forward and in the fullness of time, the judiciary will have to hire more members of staff. And that's ongoing. We've never had enough staff in the judiciary. All the way from the top. That is why we want even to hire more judges for the High Court, more judges for the Court of Appeal. And it cuts across the board. We need more secretaries, we need more court assistants. So this has all been factored, but it's an important service. However, except for the very busy stations, say like GPO or Kibra, for instance, many of the other Huduma Centres may not require more than one member of staff. But the busy ones will require at the front office to have at least two. And then keep in mind also that the back office support does not affect our activities in the courthouse.
Okay.
You know, I'm listening to you, Judge,
Yes.
and I'm marveling at the efforts and the innovation that is actually going into ensuring that access to justice is exactly that.
Yes.
Justice that people can easily access.
Yes.
But then comes the question, what are the efforts that you've made to ensure that the entire country actually knows and understands that these services are actually available to them? Because yes, those listening to this show will hear of it. Probably you'll be on another station, maybe you'll be on TV, but what is the overall plan so that everyone in the country knows and understands? Because, you see, we understood the usefulness of bureaus. People going, you don't have a computer, but you go to a place where you can access it. Then smartphones came along. But this service is of enormous importance. Because some of the things that bedevil people thinking of where to go, which court to go to, it's suddenly been shortened.
Exactly.
It's suddenly been made very easy.
Exactly.
How will they all know?
We have planned an important communication program,
Yes.
so that the members of the public know that this service will be available. And we said the best place to start is in the situation room at Spice. The other thing that is going to happen is this program will be rolled out in a major national event presided over by the Honorable the Chief Justice and leaders of the other two arms of government in early March. So there will be a lot of publicity allowed this event then. So that, partly, we do not want to steal the thunder from the event that will be a national launch.
Okay.
We want to start out small with the 6 centers, do a show like the one we are doing now, but we have a directorate of public affairs and communication, the equivalent of our PR wing in the judiciary, which is a directorate. It's already issuing out a lot of information in print, through social media, and through our website about this particular service, so that members of the public get to know. So you're going to see a lot of publicity around this between now and early March. But I agree that we need to publicize this down to the village so that people know that this important service is now just next door.
You know, rural electrification made very many things possible.
True.
Because you couldn't have a cyber cafe if you didn't have electricity.
Exactly.
But many of these things are now possible. And then, of course, with the advent of the county government, a lot more has been possible. But often what we find lacking, especially where matters of the law are concerned, is information.
Information
That will serve you and will make it possible for you to actually access that justice that you seek.
Yes. Very, very important fact, we usually advise courthouses across the country, and many have taken it, to have what they call a barazal in the morning, where everyone who has come to court, say, if it's a courthouse in Othaya where I was born, all the litigants, other than the prayer session, are advised about the services available in the courthouse. They are also advised that those services are free and that no payment should be made unless it's receipted, and so forth. And they get then to develop a level of expectation of the service. So I agree now with where the country is, and with the number of smartphones in the hands of the public, this service is now possible. And we shall ensure that it succeeds. But of course, there will be challenges, and they will be dealt with sometimes as they arise. In fact, when we roll out this program on Monday, we want as many Kenyans to come to those counters. That will help us to see the kind of pressure that they put on the system and to see where we need to rectify and improve.
Please go ahead.
Will there be any matters that will not be able to be handled by the folks at the desks at the Huduma Centres? I'm thinking about kind of like triage. You go there, you get your blood pressure, you do the first things, then you go. And then if somebody needs to do heart surgery, it's not going to happen there. Are there going to be things that would need to be then escalated?
Yeah, yes, true. So that other than the services that we have isolated here and that we gave at the beginning of the program, other services will have to be accessed at the courthouse. For instance, if this person needs to be heard and it's not a factual hearing, they will need to go to court. Right? So that there will only be limited services that can conveniently be handled online or on an electronic platform at the Huduma Centre. So that the surgery, the open heart surgery would have to be done in the courthouse.
You have to go to the specialist.
Yes, but think about it. If you look at the things that we've said here, if you're following up on your judgment, you can sit there and you're able to hear the determination. And you can then, after that, if the judgment is printed and available, you can apply for a copy of that ruling or judgment from the Huduma Centre. So that, again, this will also help to reduce the traffic into the courthouses. So you only go there for that open heart surgery.
For the very main one.
Yes.
Judge, since the rollout of the e-filing and the digitization of some of these court services, what's the response been like from advocates?
Oh, the response from advocates has been very good and overwhelming. You recall, like I said at the beginning, I do 99% of my work virtually. The Court of Appeal, I should mention this, does nearly 100% of its cases online. Started all the way when COVID came, and courts had to be innovative to continue offering the service. So lawyers are now able, when they come onto the e-filing system, they get credentials, and they're able to file their court cases from the comfort of their law firms. So that has really helped. They can take a date for this case. The case may be heard virtually. The judgment will be delivered. They can get a copy. So we've had tremendous support from lawyers.
Okay.
It hasn't, of course, always been what I'll call a smooth ride. There are always some rough edges. But overall, we've received full support from the lawyers and other actors in the justice chain. Remember, here we are speaking of prisons. Yeah. The Director of Public Prosecutions. We are looking at NGOs. We are looking at the public. But we've received support, key support from all of these sectors.
I'm asking this because, like, I read the previous tweet by the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Eric Theory, who's outgoing.
Yes.
There's going to be an election soon, One of the candidates for president of the Law Society of Kenya is Peter Wanyama.
Yes.
He's also reacted online, and he says, why is the CJ keen on making the judiciary subservient to the executive? What if the legal framework for Huduma services is charged in a court of law? Did the CJ consult LSK and advocates? This framework will provide a fertile ground for quacks to flourish and has a potential to kill legal practice. The CJ should have consulted widely before pushing through such a hurried arrangement. Why are we getting these kind of concerns and comments from lawyers who are top of their trade?
I would explain it partly because of every new thing that comes sometimes scares people. Even technology.
Technology is scary.
Technology is scary. Talking of AI
Even
now
to the
and so
techies.
forth.
Oh, yes.
So I think the initial reaction by Council Peter Wanyama, who I know very well, is that, this is a new service that the judiciary is offering. We have not been fully consulted. There could be quacks. Why is the Chief Justice doing this? Should we be housed by the executive? But we should always keep in mind that the government is one. In fact, if you look at Article 1 of the Constitution, read with Article 2, the judiciary is a co-equal arm of the other two arms of government, the executive and the legislature. But the power that we hold and exercise is donated to us by the people of Kenya. So that if you start drawing some very thin lines between the executive and the judiciary and the legislature, then you get into a gridlock that is unnecessary. For this reason, the money for all of these three branches comes from Wajiko. However, the service that we are rolling out is not any different from the services now available to the lawyers at the registries in the courthouses and on the platforms that we have dealt with in the show. All that we are doing is creating another window in line with the vision of the Chief Justice of having multiple lines of access to justice, where these people can access the service. So it's just someone who stops now at GPO, instead of going to Milimani, they get their service
At GPO.
there. It will not affect the independence of the judiciary, which Council Wanyama is worried about there. In fact, our constitution says these three arms of government are independent. But it also makes a profound statement that they are all encouraged to have interdependence. That is what we are doing by riding on the success of Huduma Kenya.
Titi, what do you think?
You know, it isn't just even the Law Society of Kenya or the lawyers. The legislature are a finicky lot, fussy. And I was... it's not an insult, I'm just describing them. I was going to ask this question. Even when we talk of public participation, is it possible, is it feasible that just like various committees of Parliament will call leaders within the ambit of government in the wider sense of the word to Parliament to explain certain things, is it possible for them to have sessions where this is presented to them after the launch so that you say, folks, you may have questions? I say this because every day or every weekend these people are out talking to their constituents.
Yes.
It helps tremendously when part of their messages have to do with the services you're offering. It may work even better than what we're doing here.
Exactly.
Because their people listen to them.
Exactly.
And the same communication cascaded to, say, members of the police in a way that you think is appropriate. Why do I say this? Because when it comes to actioning what we have in our laws and as a constitution, it's the police who are supposed to do this.
Exactly.
And just so that people feel that they have been singled out and understood to be an important cogs in this wheel. Now, the Law Society, everything I'm hearing is they feel they want to be spoken to. So make time and speak to them as well, please, as the Law Society, so that they feel the judiciary has recognized them and spoken to them.
Oh, that's a very good proposal. Like I said, as early as this afternoon, we are engaging a number of stakeholders.
Yes.
One of the other key stakeholders that you point out there is, of course, Parliament.
Yes.
And particularly the Legal and Justice Affairs Committee, which in fact is our first stop when we are asking for more funds for the judiciary and for purposes of budgeting. So there will be a lot of activities and forum where we shall be engaging not just those key stakeholders, but the members of the public to know what we are doing and the importance of this assignment.
As you said, Monday the 29th, these services will be available at 6 Huduma Centres in Nairobi and Thika. GPO, City Square, Kibra, Eastleigh, Makadara and Thika. And then thereafter, they'll be rolled out countrywide. Asante sana for joining us. The Honourable Justice Kanyi Kemondo is the chair of the Committee on Operationalization of Judiciary Desks at Huduma Centres with the Huduma Kenya, collaboration with Huduma Kenya. He's also the presiding judge of the Criminal Division of the High Court. Asante sana for joining us, Judge.
Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful.
You'll come again soon. We'll see how much progress you've made.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to The Situation Room. Kenya's biggest conversation will be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10. Enjoy your day.